you were doing that before you got your.
Well, I didn't
What's
know
it?
condition then, but now I do know it's a condition.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you. I have Helen and Mark joining me to celebrate International Youth Work Week 2020, and the theme for International Youth Work Week is Ambitious for Youth Work. So as two very seasoned, long-standing youth workers who have still managed to stay true to youth work through all the cuts and all of the challenges that we faced, I was curious to find out what your hopes or your ambitions for youth work are. So what do you think?
Hi guys. For me personally, my hopes and ambitions are for the mandatory youth services to be returned to the whole of the country. And that's not just the mandatory clubs where you can just play pool. Obviously, we know that that isn't all we do. But there's things like the specialist teams, like the gangs teams, the runaways teams, the physical and sexual health teams. Because when we had them in Derby, there was such an tremendous help for the young people within our city. And I believe that youth workers should be present wherever young people are, i.e. schools, hospitals, children's homes, because we know what they're like. We have a different connection. So yeah, that's what I would hope to happen in the near future.
I think that's fantastic.
Thank you.
Helen, thank you. And what about you, Mark? What are your ambitions for youth work?
That's lovely. I guess my ambition for youth work, I guess from a very personal perspective, we work within the NHS, and you know, we are classed as not being qualified, and this is something that we've been working on. There is a movement called the Allied Health Professionals, which, you know, we are trying to get to be part of, with the help of the Institute for Youth Work, you know, getting us some validation and getting us a number that would actually help towards that. So, you know, we do work very closely with OTs and other people, but actually we are youth and community workers, and, you know, we bring with our role not just those professional core standards, but we also bring sort of what makes us who we are. I mean, I have a particular interest in spirituality, in sort of conspiracy theories. So for me, all the youth workers in our team bring a different aspect of themselves into the role. So I'm in two minds, really. Do I want to be an allied health professional? If that means we have to maybe apply to a code which actually is not about challenging things. I think core to youth and community work, we are political in that sense, maybe with a small p. You know, when we are there to sort of challenge sort of ideas and notions and sort of concepts, and you know, long may that continue. I do worry if we are classed as being professional, that some of that edge may well be lost, but I think it's keeping that edge and, you know, holding people to account in power. That's really, really important. So that's my ambition for youth work, is to continue to be political with a small p, and actually realise that, you know, about the structures and the sort of ideas and stereotypes that are perpetuated, which keep young people, you know, in a lower position. That's my perspective. Thank you.
That's good luck. Thank you, Mark. That's fantastic. Thank you for that. And certainly, I know at the Institute, something that we're really passionate about is trying to create a sort of community of practice, whether that's virtually or through our conferences. And what I'd really like to see is, you know, the generations of youth workers, those of us who remember statutory youth services and the good and the bad that was involved in that, and the various different ways that we worked, and those new graduates who maybe have never even known that, and to have some conversations with young people, different generations of young people who've been impacted on by the youth services. Because I know as youth workers, we often have to just accept we might never know like the impact that we have. We just go out there, do our best as a youth worker and hope that we're having a positive impact on young people, but we don't expect that they're going to come back to us in 10 years and say, you know, oh, because of your club or because of that conversation I had with you, you know, that really helped me. We just kind of have to go with it, don't we? But on the flip side,
we do
We're
We
living
do,
in
but there's many a time that I've seen young people that I worked with in the past, and they've come up to me, gave me the biggest hug, and I've not actually recognised them. And they'll say, "I don't reckon you don't recognise me, do you?" But they've said, if it wasn't for you, then I wouldn't be. I've got a hairdressing salon. I'm a mother of some beautiful children. I've done a bit of time in prison, but I've come through it, and now I'm a scaffolder. And it's those things that sort of like mean something. And I guess for me, because we haven't got the statutory youth service anymore, we are seeing so many young people that are going into the more expensive services, i.e. mental health services, the youth offending services, because they haven't got the support that we gave them in a youth service setting.
Then recently, the Centre for Youth Impact was involved in assessing 49 pieces of research all about open access youth provisions, and they found that overwhelmingly all 49 pieces of research found that open access provisions had a positive impact on young people. And actually what came out of the conference where they fed that back was we need to stop trying to sell that youth work is fantastic and it has an impact and it's positive for young people, because we know that, we can evidence that. What we need to move to now is saying we're going to stop selling it to you, and actually you just need to buy into it, because we know that it's impactful. It's like sometimes we act like the poor relative at the table, like we need to convince people
that's
we deserve to be
true.
there.
That's true, actually. Yeah,
and I think hopefully now that the Institute's got a bit more capacity, you know, we've got a bit of funding to have a bit of staff, because the last few years it's just been entirely run by full-time youth workers who do it on top of their full-time youth work jobs. Like hopefully now we can really sort of galvanise our youth work community, and I think young youth workers need to hear the voices of youth workers that have been doing it for a longer time and say, actually, we can demand these things, because we did have it, we can demand that. But we need to be mindful to not end up, I think, this is quite my personal opinion now, but I think we need to be careful not to end up in an outputs driven, you know, kind of culture, which is the kind of area where I think youth work stands outside, is a bit counterculture, because we're like, no, it's about the process, it's about the young person leading how they want to do it, not I've got to get you to get your minimum GCSEs, or I've got to make sure that you don't carry a knife, or I've got to do this, I've got to do that. It's all outputs, you know, like outputs are fine, you know, and we want to measure the impact of our work, but I think we need to be careful not to become obsessed about it.
I mean, outputs are fine if that's what the young person wants. It's not, you know, we shouldn't be driving that. We're not here to get people into work. That is not the panacea for solving mental health issues. In fact, you know, I go onto the IPPR website, which I would thoroughly recommend any youth worker to read this. And it's got 2 pages on about why focus on personal responsibility. And it's basically children's choices are not independent of marketing. We have to understand how, you know, our advertising, our product placement, you know, and as that program, the social marketing program was talking about, this idea of sort of, you know, not living up to the ideal image, how these things impact upon young people that we work with. And some of the more corrosive aspects of capitalism. You know, that's all that I'm saying. You know, we are political. You know, we're just saying be aware of these things. We're not saying it's right or wrong. We're saying have an awareness about these things. These things impact on people. There's no meaning without context.
Have some critical thinking skills.
Absolutely.
All right, okay, guys. On that, I'm gonna close up. Unless there's any last things that you want to say about the future of youth work.
No, we need new youth workers. We need new youth workers definitely, because like you say, we're a bit more mature, and we definitely need to, you know, maybe this is a chance for youth work to like reevaluate itself and rethink actually what are we here for? Because actually we're here to be different, not here to be the same.
Yeah, we don't want to be a homogenous, you know, all the same kind of sector. I think the diversity of the youth workers in the sector is positive, isn't it? Helen, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yes, I've got somebody on another line by the sounds of it. Just let's get more youth workers out there. Let's do this. Let's show them that we're a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
Because we are a bloody good team. We work hard and we listen and we give our young people a voice, which they haven't got at the moment.
Fantastic.
So good luck in the future, people.
All right.
Thank you, Helen. That's amazing. Thank you so much.
Arrivederci. Arrivederci. Buon